Hey everybody. Okay, let's take a look at this ABC landscaping assignment, which in the last sheet down here, you're going to be required to pull data from January, February, March to come up with a quarter summary of report. So first off, you want to make sure all of these numbers, these numbers here are, you want to make sure all these numbers are dollar amounts, they're currency. So it's set to currency. Excellent. In February, these are, those are set to counting. That is incorrect. See, I'm not really sure why it's highlighting all of those. It should just be doing column. It's not. Okay, well, I will change that. Currency. I'm going to do Control Y to repeat the same thing here. And see how those come up zeros? That's important. If you don't enter a zero in there, it won't work on the last sheet. So same thing here. These should be set to currency. Control Y again to repeat that. Okay, much better. And the zeros are there, so we're good to go here on the Q1. Okay, so we want to grab the totals and we want to add up those amounts from those other worksheets. So the formulas goes equals, tell the computer I'm going to do formula. Then I come down here, I click on January because I'm going to January. And I want to grab the total income. So I click on it. So the computer's automatically building the formula here for me, which is really handy. I'm going to hit a plus sign because I want to add the total of January to February, total plus again, and March, and total income in March. And that's the last one. So from here I can just hit enter. It's going to pop me back to the last Q1 worksheet and gives me the total here. So there it is, January B5 plus February B5 plus March B5. And that exclamation means go to that workbook, grab that cell. So I'm going to do it again. Alright, equal sign to give it, let the computer know I'm doing a formula. Going to January, and I'm doing car expenses. So here's my car plus February car plus March car. And enter. And there's my formula right there. Pretty slick. It gets even better. So when I made this worksheet, first I built January. And so all the total incomes are in A5, and the numbers are always in B5. And the same thing here. Everything is built exactly the same. And then when I went to go make February, I just highlighted this, copied it, went over to February, I pasted it here, I changed the month, and I changed the numbers. But everything else stayed the same, and so my total income is always B5 in every worksheet. My car is always B8 in every month. Pasted March in, change the month, change the numbers, that's it. So the nice thing about that is when you come back to your summary and you've built this formula, you can just drag it down to fill in the rest, because it automatically moved to the next row. And the same thing here. And it kept everything the same and just moves one row. So it's very fast, and I love fast. So that is your total. Let's do average. So this one's a little bit different because you have to equal average and a parenthesis. Because I want the average this time, I don't want to just add them together. So I'll go to January, and again I was working on the total. But instead of a plus sign, I now need to do a comma. And it tells me that here because it's saying average number 1, which was January worksheet B5, and then it's got a comma. And now the bold is saying, okay, where do you want for number 2? And I'm going to say February. And a comma. And now March. And then enter, because it's the last one, I'm done. And there's my formula. So it's equals average, it's important you put average, otherwise it's going to add it up. And then you put the commas in. And now you can copy it, Control C for copy, or right click copy, whichever one you want, and Control V for paste, or paste here. And that's interesting, that came in an accounting format. So I'm going to hit escape to stop the circling, click on it, and change this to currency. And then the same thing with all of these. Should be currency. Oh, and look at that, I missed it everywhere, didn't I? That is why it's an easy mistake to make. Okay, much better. And again, I can use my fill handle here in the corner, drag it down, and now, again, averaging the right stuff and just changing one row down. And that is how you do the Q1 summary. From there, you can graph it if I require it. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's getting late. But if so, just make sure that you grab the item and then hold down Control. If you're coming down here to do a graph of just the average, hold down Control and select those cells. And that way they'll line up in the graph without including the total, if you just want to do a graph of the average. Okay, have fun.